Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Sunday. That's right, folks. Today is Sunday, and we've got a very interesting show for you today, folks. And that is if you are a die-hard Engelhard collector here. I've got a very exciting piece of news to share with you. It's quite exciting for me. I've actually been itching to share this news with you for weeks now, but things have gotten the best of me and I just haven't had a chance to share this news with you. So I'm super excited to share with you something that I've uncovered, which is exciting for one reason, and that is because it is a piece that I've uncovered that is not yet found or established or represented on the allengelhard.com website. And that is, in my opinion, one of the first places that I kind of go when I'm first trying to research a piece, especially if it's a piece by Engelhard or Johnson Matthey, because especially when it comes down to the Engelhard stuff, they do have extensive information available there on their website. So that is kind of like, I wouldn't say the encyclopedia, but it is sort of the starting point that you use as sort of a collector, especially when you're looking at some of the more specific, well-known refiners out there. And then, of course, you need to use your experience and what you analyze on the market as a collector, in addition to that knowledge, to sort of make your final determination about pieces, because there's a lot of nuances behind it. Not all the information is available there in one place. Sometimes you find out other things, and so one of those other things that you're going to find out is related to an Engelhard product. And when it comes down to the Engelhard products, I'm specifically talking about some of the Canadian Engelhard products. Now, the Canadian Engelhard products, not always, but a lot of times, will be able to be identified by these maple leaf logos that you see here. So you see here, you got this Engelhard embedded in front of a maple leaf, and this is kind of going to be one of your standard identifiers for a lot of the maple leaf bars, right? So let me show you as an example. You have other Canadian style bars, which are kind of going to be your more common bars, and these are going to be your maple style bars, right? So you've got the Engelhard maple leaf logo there again. You've even got some, I think I've got some gold maples here as well. So here's a 1 gram gold maple that also has an Engelhard. So any of these gold maples, right, or silver maples, when you see that silver maple leaf logo, that's an identifier that, hey, this is a Canadian Engelhard bar. Okay, so that not all of the Canadian Engelhard bars will have that logo, but if they do have that logo, then it is an indicator that it's a Canadian bar. Now, you have some poured style Canadian bars that don't have that. There you might have the bullhead logo. A lot of those bullhead logos that are poured will be Canadian style, will be actually Canadian Engelhard bars, but they don't have this sort of marking on them. So it's going to be on your press bars that you see this sort of a maple leaf marking. Now, when you look at the Johnson Matthey bars, some of the Johnson Matthey Canada bars, JMC, those bars will have the maple leaf logo there on the poured bars. So that's a nuance there. Engelhard pressed bars that are Canadian, a lot of times will have the maple leaf on there, but the poured bars won't. And then on the JM bars, the Canadian style JM bars will have maple leaf logos sometimes on the poured bars, but I don't know if there's any. No, I do definitely have some Johnson Matthey pieces that have maple leaves on them as well, so that are pressed. So yeah, that's just something interesting to know. Now, none of these things that I'm telling you about regarding the maple leaves are really anything of significance when it comes down to the thing that I've uncovered that I'm saying is not identified on allengelhard.com. And when I say it's not identified, I'm saying we're talking about a piece here that is not known. There's no known piece available. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the first time I've ever seen this piece ever in my life, and it's not a piece that's represented on allengelhard.com. Okay, so when it comes down to the Canadian pieces, I just showed you a big box of Canadian silver bars, and those standard Canadian silver 1 ounce bars typically range, the common ones kind of typically range anywhere from 5,000 minted to as high as 25,000 minted. Now you got some certain variations of those 1 ounce maple leaf bars. You know, they kind of look like this on the front, that are much rarer, right? So there's different nuances. Sometimes they might have a larger serial number than this, and that would make it a rarer bar. Those I think are very low mintage, the ones that have the large serial number. And so there are many different variations of the maple leaf bars that are much rarer. But when I'm talking about the more common ones, you have different bars that have this sort of a front. The back of it will be either a blank back with a border or a blank back with a no border. And then sometimes you'll have the positioning of the 1 troy ounce stamp being a little bit different. There's one variation, it's a 15,000 minted bar where the 1 troy ounce stamp is a little bit lower, okay? And then the typical 25,000 minted bar will look just like this on the front. On the back, it'll be a blank back, and it will have a border on the back, a raised border on the back. That's the 25,000 minted variety. And then you have the 5,000 minted variety, which on the back it's blank, but there's no border on the back, so it's just kind of like a flat blank back. That's kind of my favorite kind of bar to stack, because that's kind of a low mintage 5,000 minted bar, yet it's still readily available for not a crazy expensive price. Now when you get past that 5,000 minted bar with the blank back and no border, after that the variations are more lower mintage, right? So for example, right here you got a TD Bank reverse. This is a 1,000 minted bar that you're seeing right here. If you go on allengelhard.com, you will see that the 1 ounce variation of the Engelhard TD Bank bar, that is a 1,000 minted bar. And so you also saw over here that we've got this maple leaf bar. Now there's a maple leaf bar that has a blank back, that's a 10 ounce variation by Engelhard, right? And I forget what the mintage is on that, but this one right here is actually also a TD Bank bar. Okay, so now this is also a 1,000 minted bar. Both of these are 1,000 minted, the 1 ounce and the 10 ounce. So both of these sell at quite high premiums, and truthfully I almost never have a chance to really buy these bars. They're almost never available on the market, right? And if they are, then there'll be some crazy price as well, right? And every time I bought these bars, I've paid a crazy price, and every time that I see them, that they're a crazy price. And that's just the nature of the TD Bank bars, because there's so few of them. There's only 1,000 of these and 1,000 of these, and these are the only TD Bank bars that Engelhard produced, as far as All Engelhard is concerned. If you go onto the All Engelhard website, these are the only 2 TD Bank bars that exist. 1 ounce variation, 10 ounce variation. Now, when you go into the Johnson Matthey variations, oh boy, let me show you. I mean, I don't want to show you. I've got a whole box full of them, but there's at least three different 1 ounce variations, if not more. There's also a couple 5 ounce variations of the TD Bank Johnson Matthey bar. There's also a couple 10 ounce variations of the TD Bank Johnson Matthey bar. And in fact, Johnson Matthey also produced a few different poured variations of the TD Bank silver bar, and those ranged in the I believe kilo, 20 ounce, 50 ounce, and 100 ounce class. So there's so many different TD Bank Johnson Matthey products out there of the silver variation, and then on top of that there's gold bars as well that are TD Bank Johnson Matthey co-branded. When it comes down to Engelhard, well, on gold, yeah, there are some gold. I know at least 1 ounce and even 2 ounce and 5 ounce gold bars out there that were produced for TD Bank by Engelhard. But when it comes down to the silver variation, all Engelhard is only aware of a 10 ounce variation and a 1 ounce variation for silver. So that means that coming across any sort of a TD Bank, Engelhard, or co-branded bar is very difficult and next to none impossible. And that's why you'll see when they're available for sale, the prices will be ridiculous, right? I mean, when I bought these bars, I don't think I've ever bought a TD Bank 1 ounce bar for below $200, and I don't think maybe I have gotten lucky and gotten them for under $200 at some point, but rarely do I ever have an opportunity to do so. And when it comes down to the 10 ounce variation, I never am able to get these for really less than $50 an ounce. So that's just kind of what the price point is as far as I'm concerned when I've been able to acquire them and when I've had the opportunity to buy them and I have purchased them. But I've also spent a lot more than what I've stated as well for these bars in the past, just based off of what the pricing was on the market at that time. Okay, so The TD Bank Engelhard bars, very difficult to come by. The TD Bank Johnson Matthey bars, depending on the variation, some of them are next to impossible to find. Others are very, very readily available, right? There's an 18,000 minted TD Bank 1 ounce bar as opposed to a 1 ounce, 1,000 minted TD Bank Johnson Matthey bar, which there also is. There's a 1,000 minted, if I'm not mistaken. There's a 18,000 minted, and there's something in between there as well. So there's a lot of different variations when it comes down to the Johnson Matthey TD Bank bars. Engelhard, not so much, until I found this baby right here. This right here, you'll note, is also a TD Bank reverse and is also co-branded with the Engelhard Canadian Maple Leaf logo. Okay, why am I so excited about that? Am I excited about that because it's in the original factory seal? Yes, I am excited about that because it's in the original factory seal, because neither of these two bars are. So it's very rare that you get a 1,000 minted bar that is also in the original factory seal, but this is the most expensive TD Bank bar I've ever paid. And I'm not going to necessarily tell you exactly how much I paid for this, but there's a reason I paid more for this TD Bank 1 ounce bar than I've paid for any other TD Bank 1 ounce bar in the history of bars, TD Bank 1 ounce bars that I've purchased. And that is because I noticed something very odd about this bar, and something that in over 10, I've looked at definitely over a dozen 1 ounce TD Bank bars, either mine personal or ones that I've seen on the market that have been available, and every single bar, every dozen plus bar that I've seen has looked like this one. And how does that differ than this one? Well, I don't know. Some might say, hey, it's the same exact thing. What are you talking about, SBS? One's just in the factory seal, so it just looks a little funky. No, actually, these are slightly different, and I noticed it not right away, but after kind of looking at it for a while, I was like, hey, wait a second. This looks a little bit different compared to any other TD Bank bar I've seen. Now, some may have noticed it already, but if you look down here at the fine silver stamp, this one, and I'm telling you, the dozens that I've seen have always looked like this. And if you go on All Engelhard, this is what it looks like. This is the example that they have. All of the examples they have fall in a range, I think, of 36, whatever that is, 36, blah, 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 and plus. And they all kind of have that 999 plus stamp, but here you notice this says fine silver 999. No plus there. And you also kind of notice that, hey, that maple leaf logo kind of looking a little bit more. This is the first time I'm noticing this, but that maple leaf logo looks kind of a little bit more refined, I would say. And also, if you look at the 1 troy ounce stamp, it's closer to this fine silver 999, which has a thicker border, by the way, as well. And that these digits on the 1 troy ounce are slightly larger. And so because they're slightly larger, they seem to appear closer to the border there, because that's a bold border and that's a larger text. So now the spacing is smaller, you'll notice there. So there are all these different nuances between these two variations. And now I also decided, hey, first of all, I had to vet the place where I got this bar, because I was like, this is unbelievable that I found a bar that looks different, because this is a 1,000 minted bar, but they don't say anything about this variation. So as far as I'm concerned, there's a 1 minted bar. Now, this is a 1 known example bar. Of course, there's probably more of these out there, but I've never seen one, and I would say that it's very, very difficult to find. I would say 1 in 10 chance, less than 1 in 10 chance that you'll find a bar, TD Bank Engelhard bar, that looks like this. I would venture to say that there's less than 10% of 1,000 of these bars out there. So instead of 1,000, I would estimate, hey, there's probably less than 100 of these out there, because I've personally never seen one outside of the one I'm holding here in my hand. And that's why I paid a pretty penny for this one, because I just had to show everybody here on the channel that, hey, look, this is a crazy freaking bar that's not even on allenhard.com. I reached out to them, I haven't heard back, so I'm not exactly sure what their opinion is on this, but my opinion, after doing an investigation on the serial numbers, is that all the known serial numbers for the TD Bank Engelhard 1 ounce bars, they're all in the 360000 range and above. This bar right here, I think this is the only bar that I have that falls in the 3.5 range. So this is gonna, in my opinion, be the earlier variation and the first variation of the TD Bank Engelhard co-branded bar, and that was probably in the late 3.5 range, because this is a 3.58 and so on. Whereas every other TD Bank bar that looks like the known example there on the all Engelhard website, that's in the 3-6 range. Okay, so my thinking is that the earlier variations contain no plus there on the stamp, and I was thinking to myself, that's a little bit weird. Why is there no plus? But then I looked at the only known 10-ounce example, and I saw, hey, there's no plus on that either. And so to me, it just seems to me that, hey, this is just a very replica. It's like almost a kind of a replica of the 10-ounce variation, right? These are looking quite similar there, right? And then you look at this serial number, it's like a 4-1 serial number. So who the heck knows what was going on with Engelhard? Maybe they started with this 1-ounce variation, then they started making this 1-ounce variation, and then they were like, all right, let's finish it off with some 10-ounces. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. All I know is that we have uncovered a brand new variation of the TD Bank Engelhard 1-ounce bar. And since I haven't heard back from allengelhard.com yesterday, my unofficial estimate here on the mintage is going to be that this is a less than 100 minted bar. This is the only known example that I'm aware of, that I've ever seen. If anybody is aware of another example of this, I would love to hear from you. If anybody collects the TD Bank bars by Engelhard or just the TD Bank bars in general, please reach out. Let me know what your findings are. Maybe we'll have to do a deep dive there on the Johnson Matthey TD Bank bars one day, and some of the other Canadian bank bars as well, because I like to collect all the other Canadian bank bars as well. So this is just something that I uncovered that I found crazy. I just found it crazy that, oh my gosh, I've uncovered something that I've never seen before, that nobody has really ever seen before. And so I thought, let me share this with you, let me share it with the world, so that if there's somebody else who's a like-minded collector, maybe they have some additional information here. Maybe they have another bar that is just like this one, and they have a different serial number that's slightly lower or slightly higher. Maybe we can fill in some of the gaps of like, hey, figuring out the history, like, hey, no, maybe the 10 ounces were created later, then they had this one second, then they started with this one, and maybe somebody else has one of these that falls in between these cereals, and we can get a closer idea of like, hey, when did they stop making, when is it possible that they stop making this variation and transition over to this one? And maybe somebody has a lower number so that we can say, hey, instead of estimating it at like 100, maybe somebody just found one even lower, so then it might be like, oh, it's closer to like a 500 maybe, right? So as all Engelhard sort of finds out more information, hopefully they're watching this video. I know they watch some of my videos, so hopefully the good folks at all Engelhard are watching this video and they say, hey, oh, whoops, we missed that email, and maybe we should add this example there to the website. But regardless, even if they don't, now y'all are aware that, hey, there's another variation of the TD banking arm. This is the only example I have available for sales. For available period, so it's not available for sale. But I do have the TD Bank regular 1 ounce bar, and I do believe I also have the 10 ounce variation of the Engelhard bar, as well as a lot of the variations of the JM TD Bank bars available on the silverbarstacker.com website. Right now, those aren't going to be super low premium stuff. Now, what I've noticed lately is that there's a lot of folks selling off their silver. I think a lot of times it's out of need. We have business needs too, where we need to kind of not meet quotas necessarily, but we do need to generate enough funds to be able to pay for the inventory that we are kind of picking up. So we do have business expenses in that sense, and so there are constantly times, sometimes more than others, where we have times of liquidation. For example, right now, and for a long time now, we've been sort of liquidating our copper, right? So a lot of people have been picking up copper maybe against even their will, because it's been so cheap, because we've just been almost throwing this stuff away. We've definitely been pricing it below our cost basis, because you do have to pay taxes and stuff on this crap. So we've paid a pretty penny for this, but we're not selling it for a pretty penny right now, because these are one of the many things that we're liquidating. They're beautiful pocket pieces, right? And it's nice to have a few examples, definitely. And sometimes people like to stack a lot of, we have some customers, when the price is right, they like to stack a lot of these. So right now, this is an example of something where the price is right. Well, we're selling these for freaking $8, and $10 is what we're going to be starting them at today. That's what the current price is on the website, and that's what the current price is in our Whatnot store as well. And I'm going to start it at that price for the foreseeable future. You can buy as many as you want, and that's a few bucks below our cost base. And we paid $9.99 plus tax for these, and paid $12.99 plus tax for these. And so these are a few dollars actually below our cost basis, but we have them priced at now. And what my strategy is today is I'm going to give the early bird gets the worm on certain items, right? Such as these, such as these, such as these. early bird kind of gets the worm. And as I'm sort of conducting my whatnot auction, because every Sunday after the YouTube upload I do a whatnot auction, so after that I'll do my whatnot auction and I'll have some of these same items available. And I'll do, for some of these I'll be doing $1 start bids. For other things I might not start them at $1, but I'll have auctions for a lot of these items that you see here in front of us, minus the TD Bank bars, and I'll start some of those at $1 and I'll start others below the actual price that I have things priced at. And as items get bid a little bit higher past the current bin price that I have, sometimes that ends up happening. I may increase my prices, but for now, for the foreseeable future, I got these at 8, I've got these at 10. Buy as many as you want, and as we sell through, we might increase the prices a little bit, but that's the price on those for now. I know we've got a few of these 1 gram palladium bars available, so if anybody's just trying to get their feet wet with a little bit of palladium, these are just 1 gram palladium bars that are assayed here, Arger Harris, and we got a great price on these as well. I think price on these is what, like 65 if I'm not mistaken on those. So great price on palladium grams for just a few units there. I also got a great price on, we've always got a great price on Valcambi 1 gram bars. So we've got those priced very competitively if you're just trying to pick up a single gram, but we've also reduced the price there on a few units available here for the Valcambi combi bars, the full combi bars. So if you're looking to pick those up, we've got those priced very competitively as well. And we've also got some nice poured silver as well. I got these 2-ounce Jaeger poured bars, and I've got these 100 Germania mint factory sealed bars that are also still coming with the original box. So these are factory sealed with that security seal there that has a serial number on it, and then it's got the original box for these 100 gram bars as well. And then another beautiful piece of poured silver that I've got are going to be the 1-ounce poured Germania mint bars, which actually come in a nice box of 20. I've already sold through a few of these, but I've got one remaining box of 20. There's 2 layers of 10 here, and I've got all 20 available there on the website right now. So if anybody's interested in picking those up, if you happen to see all 20 available, which right now there will be all 20 available, and you grab all 20, you'll get the box that it comes with as well. If somebody buys 1 or 2 of them, then there's only 18 or 19 left. Well, I'm not going to be giving the box to anybody, because early bird gets the worm on the box, if anybody wants it. So we got these priced very, very good as well. I mean, I think we got them priced at like $33 a bar, so it's a pretty good price, honestly, compared to what you'll be able to find them. I think we got the Germania mint bars priced at around 90, if I'm not mistaken. That's also a great price. And then the Jaeger bars, I think we got them priced at 65, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a great price as well. We sold through some of those a little bit more on auction last week. So more than 65, I think around 69 is what we sold them for last week. So 65 is a great deal, I think, on those 2-ounce Jaeger poured silver bars. Great deals to be had on the auction if you are able to attend. We'll also have some vintage, as always. I've got these beautiful 10,000 minted unserialized bars, and I've got quite a few of them actually. Some of these come with the blank back, that's a 25k minted bar, and then some of them come actually with a different coarse frosted back. Let me see if I can find one of them. I don't have any right here in front of me. Oh, I have one here. Here's one. This one's got a coarse frosted pebble back, so this is a 5,000 minted bar, whereas this one is a 10,000 minted bar. Both of these unserialized in the front. So I've got some of these 10,000 minted ones available there for a great price. Under $100 you can get those. I think I got one on auction for about $90 right now, and we'll see what that closes at. But I got some great deals for the people here on YouTube and those who want to support on the website or there on the Whatnot store. I've got a great bin price here for these 10,000 minted bars as well. So if anybody's interested in picking up some of these, as you can see, I've got a few of them. I think I'll probably let these go for about 80 or 90 bucks. So go ahead and check on the website or even join us on the auction, and you can add some of these to your cart if you're interested. And of course, we'll have some of the Prospector rounds. I think I've got some 84s and some 85s available for a great price today, as well as some rarer stuff as well on the JM, Engelhard, USVI Ingot Company, all that sort of stuff. So there's many things to be had, and if anybody has any requests of stuff that they feel like picking up, if I've got many other things available as well. So I hope you are able to join us here on the weekly Whatnot auction. That's going to be on whatnot.com/user/. /silver bar stacker. And if you're not, no worries. We'll see you all next week. And I hope you are able to check out the website. We've got a few new products up available there on the website as well. Some of the things that you see here in front of you. And if you are interested in kind of picking them up in a traditional format there on the store, feel free to do that. If not, we'll see you next week on Sunday. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the long weekend. Happy President's Day to you all. Cheers.